Listen, so I'm on here today talk about Diddy, but more or less to talk about TMZ. So I was listening to this nonsense that TMZ. Listen, I'm gonna let y'all listen to it because I don't want to bias y'all against it, but I'm gonna let y'all listen to it. Tell me if you think. Chime down in the comments and let me know what you think. I don't want to bias anyone. Let me make sure this is turned up. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. Hold on. The ad is playing. Really, y'all? Stop it. Okay.
Has been sued for $100 million, and the person suing him, who alleged sexual assault, got money according to a judge. That there was a judgment entered for $100 million. But there is a twist, and Diddy may have been done dirty by the judge. Yeah, and that's how Diddy and his team see this, his legal team, because they say this lawsuit filed by a man who is an inmate currently in Michigan. They say that this lawsuit was filed improperly. They never even knew about this lawsuit until we called them, is what they said, until we called this morning and said that there's been a judgment issued. What is your reaction to this? So they were blindsided. The allegations in the lawsuit are just salacious. It involves a party. It involves alleged drugging, raping, and this man says all at the hands of Diddy. Now, the judge had a hearing because Diddy didn't respond to the complaint, and the judge entered a default for the precise amount of money that this man was asking for. But does that sound weird? It sounds so weird. $100 million here. It's almost like the judge had such a bone to pick with Diddy over the other stuff that the judge just went wild.
See, this is the nonsense I'm talking about. This is so biased. I cannot. Because yes, of course, a woman, if she's heard anything about Diddy, and let's be clear, unless you're literally in a cave somewhere. You okay, Bentley? My poor baby, he doesn't feel good. Unless you're literally in a cave somewhere, and you don't have a TV, a radio, a phone, nothing, no communication with the outside world. That would be the only way you wouldn't understand the treacherous behavior that Diddy has been accused of by not one person, but many people have filed a lawsuit against Diddy. And not only that, we've seen on CNN the video of him treating Cassie treacherously. So the idea that they're like, oh, well, the judge might, have punished him this way because of whatever she saw, you damn Skippy. Now, I know our justice system is supposed to be blind and impartial and all that, but we know it isn't. Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear about that. Our justice system has never given justice to the right people. It's to the people with the most money, connections, prestige, influence, all of those things. That's who the justice system helps. Okay, so let's not do that. But the fact that they're trying to paint this picture like the judge is overstepping, no. If I'm supposed to go to court and I get served with whatever paperwork and I don't go to court, this is what happens. It's a default judgment. That's what happens. It isn't as if, because they're trying to say, oh, well, this guy who won the settlement, well, he's a criminal. He's currently in prison or in jail or whatever. And basically trying to dim his light or try to take shots at his credibility. There's tons of people in jail for stuff they didn't do. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say most of the people did something. Maybe they lied to the police. Maybe they, were involved and try to minimize their involvement or whatever it is. But generally speaking, they probably did something. But like I said, you would have to be a person under a rock somewhere not to know the allegations, that Diddy has that have come to Diddy's way, the amount of lawsuits and the amount of people who basically confirmed all of this treacherous behavior. There's not just one person. That's number one. Number two, it's not like this guy serves him one day and then the next day they go to court That isn't how it works. Okay. That isn't how it works. You have a certain amount of time, to respond and whatever else. So the other point that they're trying to make is, okay, well, this guy or whoever had it served to a house that Diddy doesn't go to often. That's not my fault that you have multiple homes and that you don't have somebody there to take in your mail, or you don't have a doorman or whatever else. So if you are a rich person, you can just never get served because you have multiple homes and they don't know where you are. That's not my fault that you ain't at the home that I went to, or at your job, or wherever else. You can't expect that the person serving you is going to travel around the world to find you. That's just an unrealistic expectation. Again, when you're a person of means, someone who has a lot of money, you can use that excuse. And the fact that TMZ representatives are sitting out here trying to excuse away, and they're saying, oh, well, his accusations are horrible, and the Diddy's lawyers have said that he's a convicted sex offender and all this kind of stuff. Really? That's rich. I just love the irony here. So P. Diddy is sued for $100 million by a man that's in jail for sexual assault. And by the way, the guy is in his lawsuit is claiming that Diddy and whomever allegedly sexually assaulted him, like he was some sort of sex slave or something like that. So it's just the irony for me that the person that is in prison for the same things that you're being accused of is suing you and won. That's ironic if I ever saw it. But I can't stand the fact that these people are on here trying to sway the public and how dare this guy who's in prison for these things. Listen, I could go to prison for unaliving someone. That doesn't mean that I'm a thief, right? It just means if I got prosecuted and sent to prison, that someone found me guilty of that. That doesn't necessarily even mean that I did it. But let's just say I did unalive someone and I went to jail for that. Am I not allowed to say, well, my husband, or no, not my husband, let's just say my coworker or my cousin borrowed $10,000 from me to put down on her, expedition, or I don't know what kind of car, her Lexus. She borrowed $10,000 to so that she could put down on her Lexus. Just because I went to jail for unaliving somebody does not mean that it absolves this person over here, my cousin, who borrowed the $10,000 from paying me. No, you borrowed this money, so you got to pay me. It doesn't matter that I have a different crime. And they're trying to say, well, the judge is biased. Well, how could you not be? She's a woman. She probably, like I told y'all before, 1 in 4 women will be sexually assaulted in her lifetime. It is just a fact. Go look it up. So she probably is biased. I would be, sure would. And let's be clear, justice is not blind. There are human beings sitting at the table. And because of that, it's going to be biased. That's why you have to have so-called jury of your peers, because they know a white man and a black man, even though they're two men, they have two different life experiences. A poor man and a rich man, they're both men, but they have very different life experiences. A man and a woman, two different life experiences. A white man and a black woman, two different life experiences, and on and on and on. So of course you're going to have bias. Yeah, if Paris Hilton is on trial for whatever it is, crashing her car into something, she crashed her car into my car. And then some other regular person like me that just goes to work, makes, let's say $100K a year, whatever it is, $120K a year. That is nothing compared to what Paris Hilton has in her bank account. It's pocket change, right? So if I'm a person that only makes $100,000 a year, or even $50,000 a year, let's just say, I probably feel a way about Paris. And I'm not even a jealous person, but I'm not feeling that bad for her. Girl, you sitting on a boatload of money. Why are you driving drunk? Or why are you driving speeding? Whatever it is that the alleged, issue would have been had, this fake story that I'm telling you about Paris, had it been real. People, the normal people, the regular people that don't have the influence, don't have the celebrity, don't have the followers, don't have the prestige, don't have the name Hilton and all this, that, and the third, those people, they probably unconsciously feel a way about you. They already feel like you're, and when I say you, I'm talking about Paris, they already feel like you're probably spoiled and you get your way and you can buy your way out of everything. So yeah, I'm sure the judge is biased, but she right. He ain't come to court. His counsel didn't come to court. So I'm giving a default a default judgment, period. It would be no different if I didn't come. You don't appear in court. It's not my fault that you didn't get it in time. That's why you have handlers. That's why you have all of these people, assistants and whatnot, to give you this stuff. I don't believe for a second this man did not know he's being sued. He's being sued by everybody. And he deserves to be sued by everybody. According to what he's allegedly done to so many of these people, they all seem to have a very similar story. And it's not similar in the sense of like, we all got together and we telling the same story. They're telling very similar stories with the same theme, right? So my experience as Cassie was that he beat me up, he followed me, he harassed me, he had his people follow me, he had me, carrying around his weapon, this, that, and the third. That's what he did. He chased me down. I couldn't do this, that, and that. He had people stalking me. Then you have the Dawn lady, I forget her last name, that also is suing him. Very similar, except she was in a girl group and this is how she was being treated. And he would, according to her, touch her body and unnecessary reasons and just make her completely uncomfortable. That's a different scenario. It's a different person. She was in a group. Cassie wasn't. Then you have, what is that guy's name? Oh, I can't remember his name, but he was P. Diddy's, he was a producer of some kind. Lil Rod, I think is his name. And here he goes. Same, almost same exact story. You're touching me inappropriately. You're making me take drugs. You're sexually assaulting me. All of these different things. It's the same theme. The way these people are being treated, it's in totally different circumstances, meaning the situations that they're in at the time is different from person to person, but the actions, the behavior is always the same. He's a savage. He's yelling and screaming. He comes in nice. Kim Porter would say stuff like that. And then he, does this play fight with you. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he really fighting you, allegedly. They all have the same exact story. He used me. Look at Mace. You could have never told me that P. Diddy wasn't doing that Mace wasn't filthy rich. Because in the early 2000s, Mace was that guy. And even Mace, I really feel like Mace, honestly, is still being nice. He's still being nice to P. Diddy. And all of the people that he suddenly gave all their music rights or whatever it is back to them suddenly. All of these people have the same exact beef with this man, which is he's a savage who gets in and out of everything. And this is the thing. Diddy sat on, I don't even know how many different panels or whatever you want to call it, where he was filming with other celebrities talking about how they can get away with this, that, and the third because they have money. I'll show you how to get away and keep your, how to have fun and stay out of jail. That's basically what Diddy has said. So even he's saying he's doing stuff and he knows that he's doing stuff and getting away with it. I ain't mad at this judge. I know the man will never see $100 million because they're going to appeal it and it's going to go on and on. But I hope even if he gets 10 million, good for him. Good for him. Now, if he is actually a person who is a sex offender, then leave him in the jail and don't give him the money. But I do want that money to go somewhere. Like, I would love it if the judge could say, yes, he still has to pay $10 million to this person, but then force that person to maybe give some of it to like their family and then the rest to like the community. Like, that's what I would like to see happen. If he really is guilty. And I'm going to go with he guilty since he in jail for it. But let's listen in a little more to what TMZ has to say.
This makes no sense to me. No sense.
Yeah. So in order to get a judge to sign a default, you must show the judge that the person has been served with the lawsuit. And service is not easy, right? We know this from a million different cases. You must actually, in the case of Diddy, either physically hand it to him, or if Diddy had a registered agent, you can do it through them. But one way or the other, the person who served Diddy must have signed an affidavit saying that they've properly served him. And only then is the judge empowered to enter the default. Then you get to the issue of payment. $100 million is bananas. But usually there's a full, what's called a prove-up hearing, where the judge will will say to the plaintiff, I need you to prove to me why it's $100 million in damages. To our knowledge, it hasn't happened. Doesn't mean it didn't. But
I don't think it did.
It doesn't seem it did.
It didn't. This was the hearing for the default. Diddy, the guy supposedly served him at a house in Michigan that Diddy hasn't been at for years. So it couldn't have been served.
Right. That's not proper service, right? Right. We know. It's not. Right. If Diddy's not there, you can't just serve him there. Right. So why is the judge entering default? I mean, judges are protective, right? This is taking away somebody's right to defend themselves in trial. You have to be sure that they gave up that right by not responding. Here, that doesn't seem to have happened.
Yeah. Diddy's side, once we called them, did some research into the plaintiff here, the guy who filed this lawsuit, and they've seen other evidence of him filing lawsuits like this, and that they're accusing him of basically committing a fraud against the court. The statement they gave us said, this man is a convicted felon and sexual predator who has been sentenced on 14 counts of sexual assault and kidnapping over the last 26 years. His resume now includes committing a fraud on the court from prison, as Mr. Combs has never heard of him, let alone been served with any lawsuit. Mr. Combs looks forward to having this judgment swiftly dismissed, and it will be. But you got to get back to the judge. So if it's not easily dismissed, then why is the judge doing the? I don't know her, but it feels like she's making a statement.
Yeah. I mean, look, typically, if we didn't have a rogue judge, which it seems we have here, setting aside a default is pretty tough. You must show not only do you have good cause for not answering in the first place, but also that you would likely prevail on the merits. You have a good meritorious defense. Putting aside the meritorious defense for a second, here he's got easy cause. He says he was never served. That's the best possible cause to set aside a default.
Right.
But it does beg the question why the judge entered it in the first place.
And the plaintiff will say, oh, we served him at this place, and then they will very easily show that he has lived here for years. So who did you hand it to?
Now, if they could dismiss it, he could then try to serve him, do it again. But it sounds.
But as of now, the fact that there is a judgment for $100 million against Diddy, which is wild. In fact, in the lawsuit, it lays out in the judgment, it lays out a payment schedule.
Right. Beginning October 1st.
October 1st.
10 million a month. It's insane.
My name is Hannah and I'm from London. And I find it very hard to believe that Diddy simply just didn't receive this, that he just wasn't served with this. It sounds more to me like Diddy has done the equivalent of deleting the email from his inbox and acting like he never got it.
Well, I don't think that happened. I don't know how they would.
Yeah.
Again, bias. It's bias. They, for whatever reason, the people at TMZ, just like how they are with the Kardashians, somebody's attorney, somebody's whomever has told them that you need to make sure that you do not go against the family. Like, that's what it feels like. Because why is it so far-fetched that Diddy could have been served? Why is that just so far-fetched when, honestly, since November, whenever Cassie filed her lawsuit, we pretty much have known where he is. Just saying. And if that's the case, if you're going to say, well, they just didn't know he hadn't been there in this long, this, that, and the third. Well, how did Homeland Security get his address and go in there? You know, no one knows when Diddy's going to be there. They hit 3 of his homes. So it doesn't really matter. He's still going to get charged with something, regardless if he was there or not. So I don't really see why they are continuing down this yellow brick road of this judgment's going to get overturned and this person who's suing him is a felon too. It doesn't matter that person's also a criminal. It doesn't matter. Criminals do all kinds of things to other criminals. That doesn't absolve Sean Diddy shitty Puffy Combs of what he did to this man. It doesn't absolve him from it. And this, to me, how TMZ is responding is very similar to the one guy, I forget his name, but it was years ago. And I'm sure if you've watched YouTube videos, I've shown him, or others have shown this guy where he looks like he's in a behavioral health center, which is like a psych hospital. And he's saying he's a light-skinned guy, a black guy looks to be, or maybe Latin and black or something. But anyways, he's saying in the video that Diddy would basically make him have sex with Cassie and this, that, and the third. And I think even with Diddy is what he said in the video. This video is years old. I don't know exactly how many years old it is, but it's very old. And it came back to the sunshine, to the light. But back then, people were like, oh, he's crazy. Oh, this man is crazy. Now that we've heard all of these, vicious things that Diddy's being accused of, now it's kind of like, okay, well, maybe he wasn't so crazy. Maybe he was, like he said in that video, a sex slave. So it's just kind of like, why are you guys giving so much credence, seemingly, at TMZ to, try to say that, Diddy wasn't served properly and whatever else. I don't get why they're on his side regarding this. It's very bizarre. It's like, oh, he didn't do this properly. He didn't do this properly. Did y'all give this much smoke to Diddy whenever he was being accused of all of this stuff? Have you talked about, if you're going to say all of these, if you're going to be fair about it and you're going to say, well, Diddy wasn't home and how do we know that man's, served him actually, or whatever the case may be, or if he was properly served? Okay, that's a fair statement. But then are you going to go on here and read the lawsuit? Are you going to go on here and read what the man is accusing Diddy of? Because you're definitely reading what Diddy's lawyers wrote. You're definitely reading what their comment was when you reached out to Diddy's team. It's not a fair assessment. It's very biased. Read what the man is accusing Diddy of too. If you're going to, stand so strongly on, well, he wasn't served properly. Well, he's a billionaire or fake billionaire like Donald Trump or whatever. Go find him. You go try to find Diddy. He might be here. He might not be. If you're a millionaire and you got 5 homes, how do I know where you really are? How am I supposed to really serve you? And I'm in prison while I'm trying to serve you. Stop it. Knock it off. It's just like I cannot with the biased commentary. Like if y'all going to act like y'all are journalists, which you're not, you're just people with a platform, TMZ, messy people with a platform. Just be a little more fair because I could see the favoritism that's happening here. And the sad part is you're favoring a guy who's been accused of SA, rape, physical assault, like you name it. Every type of crime you could think of, he's been accused of unaliving. If you go look at some of my past videos of how many people have been in Diddy's orbit that are no longer alive, it's bananas. So those people, how many people have said that they were drugged when they were around him, woke up naked, all this kind of stuff. All of the people who said that they've been basically sex trafficked, why are you in any way wanting to poke holes in this other man's story? How does it benefit you? How does it benefit anybody? Diddy is a menace to society, in my opinion. So help me understand why y'all are 10 toes down for this man who, at this point, CNN showed us how violent he is. So I'm not believing anything he wrote, his lawyers wrote, because look at what Diddy posted before the CNN video came out with Cassie being brutally attacked. He wrote, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently." By the way, he didn't write this, his lawyers did. But anyway, he said, "I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday." That right there is a shots fired. He's basically saying in that one statement that I just read, the sickening allegations part, he's saying that this is just another woman who don't have shit, who wants to steal my money because she a woman and she don't have nothing. That is, girl, that's a whistle. That's straight to the red meat for all of the people who are going to say, we can't believe her and why she waited so long and she was just there for the money. He's stoking the fire for all of the idiots who don't believe victims anyways. He's saying, see, here we go again. Just because I'm black, I'm a black man, they want to tear me down, and I'm a black man with a coin in my pocket, and now they want to take it. It's like, shut up, knock it off. Anyways, he then says, let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Now, what truth are you talking about? Because there hasn't been a true word came out of your mouth yet, sir. You're a savage. And listen, that is not, what's the right word? Alleged. It's not alleged that you're a savage. The way you did Cassie in that hallway, that's savage. And then drug her back to the room, savage. Why you ain't dragging, Jadakiss back to the room, or, Cash Money, whatever that it is. What's his name? The one that's in charge of Lil Wayne. Why you not dragging him back? Baby or whatever. Go drag Eminem. Drag 50. Drag some real hard heads. I promise you ain't gonna have the same response. But you a weak, savage, and you'll treat women and children a certain way. Like what you did to Usher. I don't know. Listen, I believe all of it, even though Usher still won't really plainly say what happened to him. And he has the right to not have to say it. I wish he would, but he has the right to not say it. What he did to Justin Bieber, savage. Justin his life ain't been right since he went to Diddy's flavor camp. Sexual assault flavor camp is what I call it. He ain't been right since. Just when you remember with Justin Bieber, he was so young, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and full of talent with swag dripping off of him. Just swag everywhere. Ruined this little boy's life. And I believe all of the stuff that people have said about the dark rooms and the secret rooms and all of the stuff. I do. I believe it because, well, like I said, we have the evidence on the CNN tape, but also too, if you go watch Sloan Bella, she's a psychic medium, and she does 3-part, like basically she's, I guess, somehow able to channel Kim Porter, her energy, because Kim Porter passed away. So many people in Diddy's orbit that always pass away from natural causes. Don't get me started on him. But anyways, and the 3rd part, she talked about she said something was going to happen to Diddy. It was the knocking down of him was going to start on November 15th, she said. And I think Cassie filed her lawsuit either on November 15th or 16th. Then she said also something, she's like, we're not done. It's not over then. Because she said something's going to come up in March, like around the Easter time. And that's when the Homeland Security raided his 3 homes. So she was right both of those times. So, I mean, even before we saw the CNN footage, I believed that Diddy was a savage. It's weird, though, because all of the years prior to that, I had no idea. I never heard not one word about Diddy that was bad. If you also watch her other video, Sloan Bella is her name, about that she does on Tupac and Biggie. Biggie calls him, I guess in her psychic reading, Biggie calls Puff Daddy what do you call him? Something devil, a devil dog. And that was his major artist. And now, you know, they have rumblings of Big he was leaving Bad Boy. And so that's what ended up getting him unalived. And I believe 100% Puffy had something to do with it. Like I said, I have so many videos lining up all of the people that's around Diddy or was around Diddy, and they're all dead. There was 5 people that started at that record label that Diddy interned at. There's only 2 left. Diddy and Al B. Sure. And Al B. Sure was in a coma for 2 months. Almost died from taking like an alleged like aspirin or something that should not have put him in a coma for 2 months. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he's the only one that didn't die. I firmly believe that was Diddy. I firmly believe Diddy blew up, Kid Cudi's vehicle, because he came out and said it. He didn't say Diddy did it, but he did say his vehicle was blown up. I believe it. Gene Deal has said so much. Jaguar Wright has said a lot. And I'm not even saying I believe everything that these people are saying, Jaguar or Gene Deal, because I wasn't there. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it seems believable. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about the judge's decision to basically make Diddy pay $100 million to this guy. Because Diddy didn't show up to the lawsuit hearing. Let me know what you guys think. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like the content that you're hearing. Until next time, guys, thank you for joining Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Bye.